Hi, I'm Cathy. I would like to talk about my capstone project, Flea. Flea is a 20 to 30 pages animated graphic novel that includes some animations to provide movement to the pages. It is about the dream of a main character, a retired museum curator who suffered from serious illnesses, where in his dream he met a little boy who hidden his face under a weird mask, and they travel through a museum while fleeing from the guard or the monster that try to catch them. During this journey, the main character will see different collections that include metaphors of his past life and hints that reveal the true identity of the boy and the guard, and lead to a reversal of these two characters' standpoint, where the boy who seems to help him escape is actually represent the death who trapped him, and the guard chasing him represent to the doctor who want to bring his patient alive and back to the reality. At the end of my story, the main character will went back to the real world by the help of the guard or the doctor, and finally wake up from the coma. The cultural background of the story is refers to my own identity as a Chinese, so I incorporate traditional Chinese element into my design. There's a brainstorm and character design of my project. The curator, who is the main character of this story, is in the age of 60s. He used to work as a museum curator and now live with his wife in a small city in China. Here's some design I drew. I tried different appearance and body shape and chose the left one as my final design. The second character is the little boy with mask. I call him the bird. He represents death in the story. For his mask, I want to keep the bird element as my main character like bird, and it is kind of the representation of his spirit. I researched for birds in Chinese culture that represent death, and I choose all as his reference. I also refers to patterns on Chinese bronze mask and the black and white impermanence, who are the two deities in Chinese folk religions that in charge of escorting the spirits of death to the underworld. Therefore, I designed two masks for the little boy to express different emotions and represent his different characteristics. One represents his childish and one represents the death. The third character is the guard, or the monster caught by the little boy. It represents to the doctor in the reality, so I incorporate different medical equipments in my design, and focus on the large and bright circular light in the surgical room. Also add Chinese element to unite those three characters. I choose the left two design to be my possible final version. After designing the characters, I sketch out some key items and scenes in each part of my story. The story starts by a conversation of the curator and the little boy with mask. He wants to escape from this museum, and the little boy told him there's a shortcut to the exit, which need him to first go to the core area of this museum. So they start their journey. The boy also told the curator that there's monsters that wandering in the museum that try to catch them, which refers to the guard. Their journey to the core basically is a flashback of the curator's life as he is dying from the coma in reality. The key items and themes include an oversized frog toys represent his childhood, room of showcases represent his memories of family, woodcut of his wife and ginkgo forest represent his loved one. After leaving the forest, the curator finally caught by the guard and figured out the real identities of the guard and the bird masked boy. At the end, he refused to go with the boy to the death world and finally go back to the reality. I also experiment with digital brushes to create combinations of different styles and of outline and coloring. I find out three combinations that works for me, and will test them out later after I finish my layout. I wish to do my whole project digitally as it is easier for me to animate. Finally, I will show 4 pages of my animatic layout that already done to give you an understanding of how animations will incorporate with my graphic novel. It will be presented to the audience in video format. Finally, I would love to hear some feedback from you guys, and especially from those questions below. So, the first question is the story and the combination of animation with sequential art work for you? The second question is, do my project remind you any artists that use the similar way to combine animation with graphic novels or illustrations? I do research for the artists, but I just find few of them. So it will be really helpful if you know any of them.